Hey everybody, welcome to the SOS Small Business Success Podcast. We're all about building brands that survive while developing you to thrive. All right, thanks for joining me this week. And for those of you that have been listening to me, I think this is like 45 shows now. And I'm getting ready to set up the YouTube channel with all of the video content of this too. So if you like watching it on video and you can see the slides and the content that's available, I'll let you know as soon as that gets launched. Working on it right now. And then these will start going live as well on my Facebook page soon. I just, it's just been so crazy with the connectivity of Zoom to being able to stream on Facebook that it's such a hit and miss with everything that's been going on while we were in our pandemic, and many people were on Zoom for schooling and work, and it just wasn't worth the effort to try and always make that connection happen. So they'll be on YouTube videos, and then we'll start going live with them now that we know that we're kind of on the tail end of our pandemic. Kids are going back to school. Life is returning to normal, which has been so great. So I'm your host, Bonnie Bonadeo. Welcome aboard. Today I've got a great show for you. And not only do I feel very comfortable with this, but I am going to be sharing with you a masterclass that I'm doing on the dates of July 26th or August 2nd. Now, by chance, you might be listening to this after the fact. And if that's the case, you can always go to my website, bonniebonadeo.com/events, and find any of this content at any given time. Now, some of it has a nominal fee. Some of it is more of a course structure that's available to you. But a lot of the masterclasses and webinars are free, complimentary to you to be able to listen to at your convenience. Because what I can guarantee you is that this conversation that I might be having today might still be relevant a month from now, 6 months from now, a year from now. Because of my 40 years in the industry, I can tell you that although technology has changed and advanced us being an in real life business, our structure, our programming, our way of doing business has not changed that much. And there are still some golden rules that apply in order to continue to scale and build your business. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, is actually operations. And our title is Infrastructure, AKA Systems for Growth. All right. So I know you guys have heard this word infrastructure endlessly lately. It's this big bill that's trying to be passed, this $1 trillion bill that's trying to be passed by the administration right now on infrastructure. And I don't know anything about the bill. And I don't know exactly, this is not a political conversation that I'm trying to have, but I think it's important that we understand what infrastructure is. Excuse me, I'm choking. Okay, back on track. So I'm going to define infrastructure, and then we'll look at it from a business standpoint. What does it mean for us? So right now it's kind of like defined as this basic physical or organizational structure and facilities, buildings, roads, power supplies, things like that, needed for operation of a society or an enterprise. Another definition is the social and economic infrastructure of our country, how our country can continue to grow and expand. And then, of course, there's the third definition, the underlying foundation or basic framework as a system or organization. And I think that one applies to us most directly as a small business. So if you were looking to scale your business, you need to have some infrastructures in place or foundations and systems to be able to grow and expand larger. And this infrastructure that we're going to talk about today, we'll talk about two very specific areas of infrastructure to be able to help you, grow and expand this business here. Now, infrastructure is a necessary element of everything that we do. The roads that we drive on, the traffic lights that stop us and allow us to go is infrastructure. One of the reasons why California was shut down for as long as it was during the pandemic, because they lacked infrastructure. In other words, based on the population of that state, they did not have enough hospitals or facilities to be able to accommodate sick people. So, as bad as it was there, it wasn't any worse than other areas that didn't have the level of population and didn't have maybe a poor infrastructure in place. Density is always going to be a problem in regards to that. But in other areas, the population may have been more suitable to the infrastructure that's in place of that particular state. Shipping, our whole SOS Salon coaching program and podcast is kind of based around the analogies of sailing and boating and being on the water and understanding the elements of that. So, if you think about infrastructure from ships, yachts, and boats, anchors, moorings, docks, all of those things are infrastructure. Otherwise you'd have like a big cruise ship and you'd be sailing by this beautiful beach on this island, and how would the passengers get on and off? You could sure put them in smaller boats, but it would take forever to be able to unload the boat and load the boat to have all these people onto the island. So there has to be infrastructure to that. Our air travel, our planes are not just nilly-willy flying through the air. They're on specific highways or lanes up in the air that, connect to the towers, so that they can stay on track and we can keep track of where the planes are going and guide the planes, away from storms or other planes in the skies. The growth of America, yes, it makes sense, because that's where the conversation is happening right now. We're only 300 and some odd years, 345, 46, something like that years old. So we're a very young country, and infrastructure is probably a valid conversation. It just depends on what the priority of infrastructure is. And then, of course, we've all been watching, with bated breath on this space travel that's going on, the billionaire adventures going up into the space. And obviously there's an enormous amount of infrastructure that has to be in place in order to, send people up into space. But not just that, it's looking at infrastructure of, if our planet is not going to be sustainable, is there opportunities for us to be able to sustain life on other planets? So we're at the beginning of this. We're literally seeing this come to life in our generation at this time. We could say that our parents, and even me as a child, a very young child, that, the first man to walk on the moon was part of my lifetime. But for the younger generation, our millennials, our Gen Zs, this space travel by these billionaires is brand new. It's brand new, and it's exciting for all of us as well. But there's an enormous amount of infrastructure that goes in that. So what are you doing to create a solid infrastructure in your business? And each and every week when I bring you guys this podcast, I share with you my infrastructure or my framework that I coach my clients from, that I work through. And, and it's part of the SOS plan, which is strategic opportunities for success, narrowing down and creating these strategic opportunities for success. And my framework or infrastructure are these 5 categories: sales, operations, mindset, marketing, and education. And each week I tap into one of these particular, channels, these keystones within this infrastructure, to be able to kind of break it down and bring something that's current and relevant to you. And of course, this week we're talking about operations, which is tied to infrastructures, AKA systems for growth. All right. Now, under the operations umbrella, these 2 areas are pretty critical. Obviously, operations is a very, very, very big keystone under infrastructure. And the stronger your operational policies, the stronger your operational plans are, and foundations are in place, the faster you can scale, the more you can grow in a sense. So leading and hiring are two keystone areas under operations for you to be able to scale your business or grow your business. And leading and hiring, obviously leading every part of your business, but leading this opportunity to be able to grow your business with the hiring category, which is, we're struggling to find quality stylists. And I shared with you guys last week that the statistics of, that's right now it's 30 to 35% of licensed cosmetologists are working within independent suite environments, and beauty schools tuition and enrollment have been down over 3 years now. It's actually, I talked with a couple schools in the last couple of weeks, and they said that the enrollment was up and that things are back. But the pandemic sure put a dent in some new growth coming into our industry, some new stylists coming into our industry, because it was very difficult to learn what we do, which is a very hands-on in real life environment, without being hands-on and in real life. So, if enrollment is coming back up, that means we've got another couple of years to be able to get some of these new people through the cosmetology program and into our salons. So we have to be able to lead the business, maybe under the guise that we're shorthanded, maybe under the guise that the supply and demand of, the lack of supply of new stylists in our environment and the demand of clients wanting to be able to come in. We have to manage that. We have to lead our business maybe in a different way. And those are the things that we're going to talk about not only today, but those are the things that I'm talking about in the masterclass that I'm doing coming up on July 26th and August 2nd. Okay, so, and it's going to be tied to a boot camp where we're going to continue the conversation for 4 more days, breaking down some of these strategies that I'm going to bring forth to you guys. So here's some areas in leading and hiring. Okay, these are the things I want you to think about. Okay, these are the things you could take notes on right now. Planning for hiring, planning for growth, planning for if you can't hire somebody, how are you going to manage your business, or in accommodating existing clients, but also being able to have access to bring in new clients. Okay, managing your people, managing the client flow, managing your stylist flow, managing how appointments are coming in, managing your ads that you might be putting out there for hiring. Delegating, how are you getting the support that you need within your organization to be able to delegate some of this stuff off your plate? Sourcing, available assets, sourcing available resources for you to be able to take on this acquiring of new people. Okay, preparing for new people. It's not just a one and done of hiring somebody. What is connected to it is onboarding them, having them understand the policies and procedures of your organization, nurturing, developing, training, coaching, praising. All of that stuff falls under leadership, and all of it is a very close partnership with hiring, because there's just so much more to it, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the masterclass as well. So here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think, if you're struggling with hiring right now, what are you going to do? What do you need to look at in regards to your infrastructure in order to accommodate your existing business? Okay, so new clients, new staff would fall under that sales arena of have existing spend more money or bring in new. Okay, so we should always be nurturing new business. We should always be nurturing new staff. But at this point, what we have to think about is, are we taking care of our existing staff? Because the last thing that we want to lose is our current staff that we have, which, they seem to be migrating like crazy right now. Every single one of my coaching clients at this time are still in a migration phase with their staff. Okay. And then we also want to make sure that we're not losing our existing clients, the ones that have been loyal to us and faithful to us over the course of, a year, the last few years, 20 years, who knows how long you've been in business, because we want to make sure that they're getting taken care of too. Because the minute that they're not important or they can't get in a timely manner because you're overbooked with new clients because you are lacking the right amount of staff to accommodate the size of the business, that existing client, that VIP client, is going to find somewhere else in a heartbeat, okay? Because they're going to be like, hey, but I've been loyal to you all this time, so I want to make sure that you're accommodating me, okay? And so we have to talk about the infrastructure of maintaining our current business while still allowing new business to be on our books, all right? Then we have the opportunity to be able to kind of define, what is hiring versus recruitment. And really, you guys, hiring is an action, okay? When, the recruiting is the strategy. In order to recruit somebody, you have to put a strategy together. You have to have infrastructure in place. So you're going to say, well, I'm going to do an ad on Indeed, right? So what's the infrastructure? What's the plan for if you run an ad on Indeed of how they're going to contact you, how you're expecting them to send a resume to you, how you're expecting them to get an interview with you? Like, all of this is going to require some planning to be able to have that do it, have that support this growth here. Recruitment also includes the campaign behind it. Recruitment also includes, how you're going to take on the onboarding, how you're going to take on the training and nurturing, where you're positioning them, how you're compensating them. Like, all of this stuff has to be in place. So recruitment is a strategy. Hiring is an action. When you get the viable people through a recruitment process or campaign, and you actually can go, I'm going to hire you now, the real work, that's when the real work begins. But all of it does require a commitment of your time, your energy, your resources, okay, and your money, So that's my timer method, is time, resources, money and energy here. So you have to be able to kind of look at, are you capable of doing this? Now, I know that there's a lot of concern going on in regards to that. So that's why I definitely want you guys to participate in the masterclass, because it's really going to provide some insight for you in regards to that. And then the third thing that I wanted to share with you today was, we have to be able to look at systems to enhance or expand or to offset the lack of. So if we know that hiring somebody is a bit scarce right now, in other words, the available people to bring on board are scarce, they're just not out there right now, then you have to look at your infrastructure and your systems to be able to realign the current business that you have. So things like upgrades, upselling them on certain things that might be able to prolong their appointment, looking at selling them retail so that you're getting as many dollars as you can in from that existing client, pre-booking that client. Listen, for whatever resistance you have to pre-booking, the conversation is now going to have to take on a much more serious tone. And this is not the tone that I want it to be. I'm getting really busy now because we have a shortage of staff. So you'll need to pre-book so that you can make sure that you get in. Okay, they don't give a shit about that. You got to turn that conversation around and make it a benefit for them. I want to let you know that we've had an influx of new clients coming in. And with all these new clients, they are taking up time slots that would normally be available for our existing clients. I'm going to recommend that you pre-book so that you can be guaranteed the appointment time that you want at the date that you need, so that so we can keep your hair looking its best. So you convert the conversation away from you and why it's important to you for them to pre-book, and turn it around and make it about them, why it's important for them to pre-book, okay? And that you value their business. And as a VIP client, I want to make sure that you always have access to getting in. So pre-booking is going to be the one way that we're going to be able to support that VIP status for you. You know, I understand if you're going to need to reschedule and everything, but what I don't want to do is I don't want your, you know, an opportunity where you're calling in to have your hair done and you can't get in. You know, at this point, we do have a supply and demand issue of stylists. And so we're doing the best we can with the team that we have and the client demand that we have right now. Okay, so these are the types of systems that you want to start putting in place. These are the things you need to start looking at. Schedules, things like that. But, you know, most of this I'm going to share you guys with the masterclass. So I don't want to give it all away right now because I want you to participate in the masterclass and I want you to hear from other owners of what they're doing. I don't want to be the be all to this conversation. When you sign up for these masterclasses and the programs that I'm offering, you have the chance to see and hear from other owners on the struggles they're having so you don't feel alone in this. The ideas that they've implemented that have been successful that, you know, I may have never thought of or didn't know to do. So the idea behind showing up to the master classes that I offer is community. It's going to give you a sense of community because I can tell you that as salon owners, I know you're lone wolves. You are out there doing what you're doing and you don't have a lot of support in your field of like-minded people like yourself in order to really share and feel supported that you need to do. So I want you to feel supported. So in this masterclass, we are going to talk about the 3 secrets to hiring success. And you guys, they're simple. They're simple to understand, but you do have to kind of like check in with yourself and say, okay, that could be why I'm not getting a good response. That could be why I'm not having the success in this area, okay? Then we're going to talk about the 3 myths that may be holding you back because, you know, there is a lot of frustration in this particular topic alone. And then we're going to talk about the 5 strategies to create infrastructure that you need to succeed, okay? We're going to look at some areas of opportunities that says we got to take care of the business first. Then we have to be able to take care of, you know, the new part of your business, the new clients coming in, the new staff that you're wanting to hire, all right? So if that's the case, I want you to go to saveoursalons.com and sign up for this masterclass, all right? It's a 90-minute session. It's only $25. And what that's going to include for you is the free 4-day boot camp following the August 2nd masterclass. So there's July 26th, 12 p.m. Eastern, August 2nd, 6 p.m. Eastern. So you got 2 choices. I'm going to be duplicating this masterclass and they're both going to be live. It's not a record that you're going to be listening to. They're both going to be live sessions. And then on August 3rd through August 6th, I'm going to invite you guys into a group and we're going to continue to break down the 5 strategies of what you need to do in order to get your infrastructure in place, in order to have some hiring success. We're going to just keep breaking it down a little bit more because 90 minutes is not going to give me an opportunity to be able to go through a lot of system structure for you, how-tos. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to the concepts and the ideas that I'm going to recommend. And then secondly, for you guys to then go into action with that. And that's what the boot camp is going to support you with. So right now, go to saveoursalons.com and sign up, all right? And if you're listening to this, which I know, you know, a lot of you guys listen to this after the fact, or, you know, obviously it's a podcast, so you can listen to any one at any time. If you're listening to this, you know, later, then go to bonniebonadeo.com/events and you'll be able to find a lot of this content, a lot of my content. It's all on my website. It's going to take you to obviously other platforms to be able to do them. Some are paid platforms. Some of them are free, you know, opportunities. Some of them are going to just be links to get you to YouTube so that you can watch some of this. But go to bonniebonadeo.com/events and that will take you to things. If you're listening to this after the fact and you're still interested in hearing more and finding out more. All right, you guys, that is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, listen, I'm interested in some guests coming up here for September, October, November shows. So if you've got a great topic that you want to be able to share, or you want to be able to be on the show to be able to be coached in what you need to do in order to scale your business, grow your business, improve your infrastructure, develop some systems, I would love to be able to have you as a live guest with me on this show. So just reach out to me at Bonnie Bonadeo, Bonnie at BonnieBonadeo.com, or you can direct message me and Facebook message me. Just don't Instagram message me, okay? Like those are like, wherever they go, I don't know where they go, but they don't show up as a notification for me, and I actually don't want them to. So Facebook message me, direct message me, or send me an email at bonnie@bonniebonadeo.com. All right, appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. And remember, I'm all about helping you to be able to thrive and to get out of that mode of survival. Talk to you soon.